Good evening, my fellow sports card collectors. Welcome to another edition of K Cards Baseball. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well this fine Tuesday evening out there, wherever you might be. As you can see, I don't have my normal background. I'm not at my home base this evening. I got called for work out to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so I'm actually in Milwaukee right now. Just for the evening, I got here late this afternoon and going to be here for like an hour or two in the morning, then turning around and driving back home again. So kind of a long day, long couple days, a lot of driving back and forth. But you know, when the big boss man calls you up and tells you you got to go somewhere, well, I guess you got to pack up and go somewhere. You don't really have much of a choice in the matter. I hear, in fact, that they're supposed to get a snowstorm here in the Milwaukee area this coming weekend, so I might be having to come back here again this weekend, so which would be really a bummer. But it is what it is. It is the nature of the beast, and it is the nature of the job. So anyways, enough about that. So as you guys know, last night I was planning on doing a Mystery Pack Monday break, but the pack of cards that I anticipated getting in did not in fact come in, so I was not able to prepare that video. So if you were looking for that video last night, I apologize to you. I will expect to get that pack in the next day or two, so we can get back on track next Monday with another Mystery Pack Monday. So that's kind of where we're at. So last night I happened to go out shopping and picked up another box of Topps update, Chrome update, because as you guys know, if you saw my video from last week, I had a pretty good hit out of Topps Chrome with the Diamond Dominance Gunnar Henderson card, which I'm still pretty thrilled about. So I thought I'd give it another shot with another box of Topps Chrome update. So expect that video in the next coming days, that opening. So looking forward to that. What I am going to do tonight is cover the 1971 Topps Premier cards that I will be putting up for auction in the next, probably by Thursday is my target date to start this auction. I did start an auction last night for high number cards from 1971. So there were lots, and there were like 4 cards, 4 singles in there. The Rich Allen, the Luis Aparicio, the Dusty Baker, and the Don Baylor rookie card, and then the New York Mets rookie card, I believe it was, were the 4 singles. So I started that auction last night on the vintage baseball card sites, and I think pretty much everything that I put up for auction last night is sold. There are still some bids ongoing, so if you want to go to the vintage baseball card site and look that auction up under my name, and just type in Kent Smith, and that should take you to the auction site, and you can go ahead and bid on the singles. I think there's one lot left of cards I think there's a lot of 10 cards that is still available. There's like 7 or 8 other lots that have already sold. So the auction went really well. I'm pretty excited about it, that most of the cards sold. So I am planning on following up with these high-end singles in the next coming days, probably by Thursday, like I said. So tonight I thought I'd do a little auction preview for the Premier cards. So we'll go through each one of the cards individually, and we'll talk about the grade that I have assigned to each card and the value that I have assigned to each card, so that if you're interested in going ahead and bidding on these cards that'll be available, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into as far as the price goes and that type of thing, and the grade of each card. I thought about taking these cards all out of their hard cases and their sleeves, but being that I'm traveling and brought these cards with me, I don't want to risk any sort of damage on these cards at all. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave them in their case. Obviously, when I go in and put the pictures up for auction on the website, on the Facebook page, on the vintage baseball card site, they're not going to be in sleeves. They'll be just raw, because you don't want to have the distortion of having the sleeves in the hard cases, because you don't know what's a scratch on the sleeve. Like this one, you can see a little ding there, but that's on the soft case that's inside on the penny sleeve, it looks like, as opposed to on the card. So you want to see their card in their original condition. So we'll go ahead and do that. And before we do that, we'll go ahead and do that before we do that. That sounds good. That was not the best line in the world. Well, that's kind of funny way to do it. So anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started on this. And there's quite a few to go through. I'll go through as much detail as I can. Just so you guys get an idea of what the cards look like. So the first one up here is number 331, the Brooks Robinson World Series Game 5 card. Kind of an iconic card in the set. As far as the World Series cards go, it's kind of a cool card. This Brooks Robinson card goes. I don't remember the play, what he did. I think he must have caught a liner or something like that, because it says that he commits robbery. So I don't remember the play. I was a little kid at the time, so don't remember much about it. So I have this card graded at a very good to excellent 4, and I have it listed for a price of $10. There isn't any creases on the card at all. The card overall is in good condition. The corners are dinged up a little. Centering is pretty good left to right, and the back is in good condition. So I think that's a pretty good card for $10 at a very good to excellent 4. Next up, we've got Bob Gibson. I've got this one graded at very good, or estimated grade. Again, grades I'm not a professional grader by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, I've been in cards and for a long time, so I have a good idea what I think the grade should be, but this is just an estimated grade. Obviously, it's not like it's a professional grade or whatever. So we just go with the terms that are familiar within the industry as far as condition goes, and also the number grade that is assigned to each card. So anytime I bring up a grade, that is the estimated grade that I would assign to that card, obviously. So next up, like I said, is the Bob Gibson, the very good to excellent plus 4.5. You can see a little bit of wear on the corners. The centering left to right is probably 90-10. So that's why this card is downgraded a little bit. The corners are actually in pretty decent shape. There's no creases on the card at all. And the back is in really nice condition. So you can see that there. I apologize too that my light isn't the best. Obviously, I don't have my regular studio lights. Just some little lamp. I'll show you the picture of the lamp. So it's nothing too special. So the lighting isn't the best, so I apologize to you for that. But you can see some corner wear on this card, but otherwise it's in pretty decent condition. So that's why I have it at a 4.5 and at $10 for that card. Next up is the Hank Aaron. And the Hank Aaron card, I have a very good to excellent 4.5 as well. The only really flaw I see on this, you can see that there is on this top edge, you can see some a ding out of that top edge. Otherwise, the corners are in pretty decent shape. The card color is pretty good. There's no creases on the card at all. Centering is probably 80-20 left to right. Top to bottom is pretty good. And the back is in good condition as well. So just as too bad it has that ding on the top, because it takes this card from being a $150 card down to a $30 card, which is the price that I have it listed as. So I think that even with that ding on top, it's a pretty good value at the $30 price tag, because this card normally go 50 to 60 to 80 bucks for a 4.5 if it was PSA graded. Next up is Raleigh Fingers. I have this one at a 3. So it's only $2. You can see a big crease along the whole middle of it right there. The centering is poor. The corners are a little bit dinged up, but you just have that one major crease right here on the front of the card. The back is in good condition, just a little bit of a wax stain there, or a gum stain right there, but the back overall is in good condition. But so that's why it's only at $2. So it's a $2 card. Thought about just selling that in with the regular cards, but rather than selling it separately. Next up is Don Sutton. I have this card at an excellent 5. You can see the corners are actually in pretty good shape. There isn't any creases on the card at all. The centering is probably 80-20, I would say. Like I said, the corners are in pretty decent shape. and the back is in really nice condition. So I have this card at $5 at an excellent 5. Juan Marichal is next. I have this card also at an excellent 5. I have it for $7 for this card. A little bit better centering than on the Don Sutton. You can see the Don Sutton compared to the Juan Marichal. Quite a bit better centering. Top to bottom, left to right is actually pretty decent. Probably 70-30, I would say, on the left to right, and top to bottom is pretty good. There isn't any major flaws on the front of the card. No major scratches, no wax marks at all. And the back of the card is in good condition. No creases on the card either. So I have this card for $7. I think it's a little bit better condition than the Don Sutton, even though I have them at the same grade. The Brooks Robinson, the regular Brooks Robinson card, number 300. You can see the 300 right there. This one is pretty decent card. The only problem again here is the bottom right here. So I have this one at a very good to excellent 4.5. Like I said, the corners are in pretty decent shape. This corner right here is a little bit dinged up, and that one's a little bit of a ding up. But the centering is pretty good left to right and top to bottom. Just have that flaw there on the bottom. The back is in good condition. There's no creases on the card at all. And the color is really good on it. So I have this one for $7. That's a pretty good price for $7. Might need to reconsider that because I think it's a pretty decent card other than that flaw there on the bottom. Next up is Bobby Bonds. The Bobby Bonds card I have listed at a 3. Very good 3. You can see a crease right here on the card. So that's why it would be at a 3. Also, there's a stain. I think this is a stain of some sort right here on the card. The corners are a little dinged up, but not too bad. The centering, top to bottom, isn't very good. Left to right is probably 85-15, but top to bottom is pretty bad. Oh, you can see, I forgot about the whole bottom tape mark here. There's a little bit of remnant of a tape mark. That's why I have this at very good, very good, very good. There's also a big stain and missing some paper on the back. So I might need to downgrade this one off the 3. Have this one at a 3. I might have to go down to a 2, maybe even a 1. So I have this one at $1. So it's a $1 card. So next up, we've got Tony Oliva. Tony Oliva I have a good 2. There is creasing on the card right here across the middle of the card. Some scratches. There's also a crease up here. You can kind of see a little bit of creasing up here on the top. Corners are a little dinged up. Centering is 80-20. The back is in decent condition. You do have a crease right here. But other than that, the back is in decent condition. So I have this one at a good 2. I don't know why I had this one at a 3 and this one at a good 2, because this one's in better shape than this one is. I've done a very good analysis on the back here with half the paper missing and a gum mark across the back. But anyways, Tony Oliva, I have him at $1 as well. So next up, we've got Fergie Jenkins. On Fergie Jenkins, I have this one card listed as an excellent 5. There's no creasing on the card at all. The main issue is the centering left to right. I would say that's 90-10. Top to bottom is actually fairly decent. The back is in good condition. So I have this one at an excellent 5 for $10 for this card. That's how much it's going to go for at auction. Next up is Joe Morgan. I have the Joe Morgan listed at a good 2, and you can see why. There's a big tape mark right here on the bottom of the card. I don't know what the owner of this card did, why he taped these cards, but just killed the condition. And it's just too bad on some of these cards. You'll see a Willie Mays here coming up. That's kind of a bummer, because it takes a $500 card and really decreases the value quite significantly. So this card, 80 or 90-10 on the centering left to right. Top to bottom is actually pretty good, but we just have that major flaw right there on the bottom with that tape mark. So I have this card listed at $1 for this card. Johnny Bench is up next. And Johnny, I have a very, very good to excellent 4. We do have a little bit of wax stain right here on the side. But other than that, there's no creases on the card. This corner right here is a little bit dinged up. But it just is the surface flaw right there with the wax mark. The centering left to right is 80-20. The back is in good condition, but I just have this one listed at an excellent 4 because there isn't any significant creases on the card, that type of thing. And generally, if it doesn't have a crease, then it's going to start out as a 4. And then, like, this is the base of a card that doesn't have any creases on it, just because of the wax stain that it has. So I have this card listed at a price of $15 for this card. Next up is Willie Stargell. The Willie Stargell card, I have this one at a good 2 for $2, a big whopping $2. Again, you can see some remnants of tape here on the bottom, across the bottom of the card. And that is really the major flaw. There isn't any significant creasing on the card. Centering is 80-20. Top to bottom is actually fairly decent. You do have an ink stain, ink mark across the whole back of the card. And that's why it's at a 2 besides the tape mark. You got the tape mark and you got the marker, it looks like. But there isn't any significant creasing on the card or that type of thing. It just has those 2 flaws. So that's why I have this card at $2. Next up is Rodney Mr. Carew. My favorite player growing up, my very favorite. So anyways, as far as Rodney goes here, I don't really see any major flaws on the front of the card when it comes to creasing. Looks like there's a crease on top right there. But other than that, it's in fairly decent condition. And the back is actually fairly decent. But I have this one at a good 2 for $2. Pretty good Rod Carew card for $2. Next up is Al Kaline. I have this card at very good plus 3.5 for $5. Largely because of the corners. The corners got this corner flaw right here, this corner, and that corner are pretty dinged up. That one's not too bad, but the other 3 corners are fairly dinged up. So that's why I have this one at a 3.5. The back of the card is in good condition. There's no major creases on the card. It just is the corners are the major issue. The centering actually isn't really that bad. You also got a flaw here across the bottom of the card. So, like I said, I had that card at $5 for the Al Kaline. Tom Seaver, I have this card at very good to excellent 4.5 for $7. The only flaw is this flaw right here on the top of the card. I shouldn't say the only flaw. Obviously, it's a 1971 baseball card. It's going to have flaws on it. Just is what it is. But do have a little bit of corner dings here and there. Centering left to the right isn't bad. It just has that major issue right there on the top of the card. The back of the card is in good condition. So I have this price listed at $7 as far as the starting bid price on that card. Ted Simmons rookie card. Not a bad card. Just the major issue is the centering. You can see you actually have, there's basically no bottom of the card. So the centering top to bottom is pretty poor. But the sides of the card, or the left to right, isn't too bad. It just is top to bottom. It's pretty far off. So I think this is a pretty common issue with this particular card in the 1971 series. So I have this card listed as excellent 5 just because of that issue with the top to bottom centering. So it's $15 for a rookie card of Ted Simmons. It's not a bad price, even though the centering is pretty bad. There's a little bit of corner dings, but nothing egregious on the corners. Mr. Pete Rose. I have this card at a very good 3. There is a crease on the top of the card. You can see it right here. There is a crease on the top of the card. And the centering top to bottom is not very good either, is the left to right centering. So a pretty common problem with this card too is the centering issue. corner ding up there. The rest of the corners really aren't too bad. Just have that one crease right there. So I have this card at a very good 3. And for a price of $12 for a Pete Rose. A 71 Pete Rose in this condition really that's not bad. $12 for a Pete Rose card. That's a good deal. Steve Carlton. Very good to excellent 4.5 for $5. The major issue is the centering left to right. Top to bottom isn't terrible. It's probably like 70-30. There's no creases on the card, no significant creases on the card at all. The back is in good condition. But I have this card listed for a price of $5 for this card, which is a pretty decent price for a Steve Carlton card, an early Steve Carlton card. Next up, we have Mr. McCovey. And I think that we've got tape issue right up here on top. You can see the tape. You can actually see the tape. So the tape is probably still present on this card. Centering actually left to right isn't bad. Actually, it's near flawless as far as the centering left to right and top to bottom. So it's a pretty well-centered card. There's no significant creases on the card. We just have that issue with tape on top. So that's what brings the card down to a good 2 for $1. You can see some residue from that tape over on this side of the card on the back. Jim Catfish Hunter, very good to excellent 4.5 for $3. Just basically because the corners, centering actually isn't too bad on the card, both top to bottom and left to right. There is some corner dings that are going on, but the back is in good condition. Like I said, I have this card listed at a 4.5 for $3 on the Jim Catfish Hunter. Next up is Phil Niekro. I always wondered what to do with some of these players that were voted in by the Veterans Committee, voted in the Hall of Fame, like Phil Niekro here. But whether or not he would be considered to be a star card or a semi-star, I don't know. It's always kind of debate. What's the dividing line between a semi-star and a star card? Is it the semi-star Hall of Famers are the ones that get elected in on the Veterans Committee, and the other ones are voted in? But yeah, I guess it's always kind of debate. Having a little beer, spotted cow. Anyways, anytime you come to Wisconsin, you got to get spotted cow, is what it is. Okay, so again, the back is in good condition here on the Phil Niekro card. I have it at excellent 5. Next up, rookie card, Hall of Famer Bert Blyleven. I have this one at a very good to excellent 4.5. Pretty good rookie card. There's some flaws on the corners. There's no creasing on the card. Centering left to right, 80-20, top to bottom, 80-20 as well. The back is in good condition. I always get a little bit freaked out because this looks like it's a flaw on the card, but it actually isn't. That's just part of the picture. But like I said, I have this one at very good to excellent for $15. Pretty good price on a Bert Blyleven rookie card. That one should sell pretty quick. Next up is Mr. Reggie Jackson. I have this card listed at an excellent 5. Excellent 5 on the Reggie Jackson card. No major flaws on the surface of the card. I think that is the top part there is just a part of the penny sleeve. There's a little bit of wear on the side. The major issue is top to bottom centering is not good, 95-5 maybe. Left to right isn't too bad, 80-20, but we just are pretty significantly far off on the centering top to bottom. The back is in good condition, so I have this one at a price of $25 on the Reggie Jackson card in a excellent 5 condition. Next up is one of the more iconic cards in the 71 series, which is the Thurman Munson Gold Cup card. This was my favorite 71 card when I was a kid. Was the Thurman Munson card. So the centering left to right is off. Top to bottom isn't too bad. I have this card listed at a good 2.5. I think there is a crease here, right there on the card. The corners are in pretty rough shape. Got a major flaw right here in this corner. That corner is pretty dinged up. And the back does have a pen mark across his face right here. And also a little bit of a gum stain. So that's why this card is at a 2.5. But I still have it listed at a price of $10 because of the, if this card was in better condition, this would be a $100 card. So next up is the Nolan Ryan. Excellent card, really nice card actually. You see the corners are actually in pretty good shape. The centering isn't awful, 80-20, maybe 75-25. Top to bottom, it's a little bit off on the top, a little bit higher up on the bottom. So top to bottom is probably 80-20. But the surface of the card and the color is excellent. Really, really super nice card. I wish I had this card on my PC, to be honest. I got to get me a 71 Nolan Ryan. But the back of the card is in really nice shape as well. So this is an excellent card. I have the price on this card at $75 for the starting bid price. It is the most expensive card in the set is the Nolan Ryan card. So yeah, it's a really nice card. So I expect to get a good price on that card. Next up is Ernie Banks. I have this one also at an excellent 5.5. Centering top to bottom, left to right actually isn't too bad. The corners aren't too bad. This corner up here is a little bit dinged up. There's a little bit of chipping on the side of the card, but really not bad. The back of the card is in good condition. So I have this one at an excellent 5.5 for $35 on the Ernie Banks card. Next up, we've got Yaz, Carl Yastrzemski. I picked up two. On Yaz here, Carl Yastrzemski, I've got this card also listed at a 5.5. No creases on the card at all. Top to bottom is the centering issue where you got 90-10. Left to right isn't bad. Probably 60-40, maybe 50-50. The back of the card is in really nice condition. So I have this card listed at a 5.5 for $20 as a starting bid price on the Yastrzemski. Next up, Vita Blue. I have this card at a good 2.5. See the major flaw right here, a crease across the whole top of the card there. And that is the major issue with the card, is that crease. And I think the crease goes to the back. Oh, maybe not. Not too bad. Back is in not too bad shape. Got a little bit of a flaw. Oh, that's on this little flaw here. This is actually on the case. I can scratch it. So it's actually not a part of the card. So I have this one listed at $5 for this card. Harmon Killebrew, very good 3 for $7 on the card. I don't think there's any creasing on the card actually at all. Trying to look with the light here. But the centering, left to right, top to bottom is 85-15. Left to right isn't bad, probably 730. Yeah, see what the back is like here. I don't remember what the back is like. Doesn't look bad at all. So I don't see any major creases. But anyways, I have this card listed at very good 3 for $7 for the starting bid for the card. Next up, we got Mr. Palmer, Jim Palmer. I have this card listed at an excellent 5. No major flaws on the front of the card. The color is really good, actually. The centering left to right isn't bad, 70-30, top to bottom, 80-20. The back of the card is in really nice shape. So I have this card at a price with an excellent 5 at $15 for the starting bid price on Jim Palmer. Next up is the aforementioned Willie Mays card. This would be a $500 card if it wasn't for this big tape mark right here on the bottom. Because actually the rest of the card is in really nice shape. There's no significant creasing on the card at all. You got a little tape mark, I think, on the top. But yeah, you just have this major tape mark right here. So I have this card listed at good 2 for $18 for this card, just because of that flaw on the bottom of the card. But you know, it's a Willie Mays for 18 bucks. So what are you gonna do? It still is the iconic Willie Mays. Some people consider him the best baseball player to ever lace up shoes. So anyways, moving on. So that card again is at $18 for that card. Next up is Frank Robinson. I have this card at an excellent 5. The corners are actually pretty decent shape. That one's a little fuzzy, but the rest of the corners are actually pretty decent. Centering left to right is 85-15. Top to bottom isn't too bad. The back is in really nice shape. So I have this card at an excellent 5 for $15. Next up, we've got the Roberto Clemente. Very good to excellent 4.5. Actually, a really super nice Clemente card. And there's only 2 flaws on it, as you can see them. There's a ding up there on that top edge, and a ding right down there on the bottom edge. Actually, the rest of the card, centering wise, left to right and top to bottom, isn't bad at all. The color is really nice on the front of the card. The back of the card is in really nice condition as well. It just is these 2 flaws, the one on top and one on the bottom. So I have this card listed at $60 for the Clemente card. It's too bad. Again, it could be a $500 card if it wasn't for those two flaws right there. So anyways, yeah, Roberto Clemente, I could just stare at his cards all day long. It just is, there's something about all of his baseball cards that just they're really cool. Okay, we got 3 left, or 4 left, sorry. Bill Mazeroski, excellent 5. I have this listed at excellent 5. The centering left to right, top to bottom isn't too bad. 80-20 on the left to right. Top to bottom is not too bad at all. There's no major creases on the card. The corners actually are in decent shape, so I have this one at an excellent 5. The back is in good condition as well. I have this card listed at $4 with the excellent 5. Has a little bit of struggle because this pricing for his card is kind of all over the place. I mean, this card might be a $15 card, $20 card, but the starting bid price will only be at $4 for that card. Next up is Tony Perez, very good 3. Major issue right here is the wax stain right here on this side of the card. So that's why I have this card at a very good 3. There isn't any significant creases on the card. Centering left to right, 80-20, top to bottom isn't too bad, and the back of the card is in good condition. So I have this card listed as at $5 with an excellent 3, or very good 3, sorry. Second to last card is Steve Garvey, rookie card. I have this card listed at excellent 5. I always wonder why Steve Garvey isn't in the Hall of Fame. Because he really should be in the Hall of Fame if there's a player that's deserving. He was, 10-time All-Star, National League MVP, so he had all the accolades. But anyway, centering left to right is actually pretty much dead on. I'm going to say that's a 50-50. And actually top to bottom is really nice as well. Back of the card is in good condition as well. So I think that I have this card, it might be a little bit low at excellent 5. It might be an excellent to near mint type of card. But I have this starting bid price on this card of only $15 for the Steve Garvey rookie card. So that's a really good price on that card. The last card we have is Lou Brock. I have this card listed at excellent 5.5. The centering left to right is 90-10. Top to bottom isn't bad, probably 70-30 on the top to bottom. There's no creases on the card at all. There's no tape stains. Good color on the card, excellent color, and the back is in good condition. So I have this card listed at $15 for a starting bid price for the Lou Brock. Cool. That is what I've got for you. I'd be curious to get your feedback on what you think of the pricing that I had for these cards. If you guys think that I'm kind of crazy on some of them, kind of out there, let me know, because I'd be curious to see what you guys have to say about it. Obviously, grading is always kind of a matter of interpretation, but that just is, I just put out what the grade is that I think that the card is at. So, so what we got coming up here is tomorrow night. I don't know if I'll do a video tomorrow night. If I do, it'll probably be a break of that baseball Chrome update card box. I also have another box of Holiday that I might possibly break, but it'll probably be that Topps Chrome update card box. So keep an eye out for that video. Again, if you like this video, if you like what you see here, if you like the channel, if you get good use out of the channel, if you find it entertaining, definitely let me know by hitting that subscribe button. I would definitely appreciate it, and also hitting the like button on the bottom. That would help me out tremendously. So I would greatly appreciate any help that you guys can give me. Hopefully you guys are getting some entertainment and some knowledge out of these videos that I do. And if you're not, then let me know, because I'm always looking for ways to improve the channel. So if you have any feedback, if you have any words of wisdom, I'm always willing to listen, because I want to make this as successful as we can possibly make it. So, but anyways, thanks for hanging out with me tonight, and keeping me a little bit company in my hotel room here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So hopefully I'm back at home base tomorrow night, and look forward to talking to you guys then. Have a good night, guys.